ahead and get started. I believe we have a quorum this evening, so roll call, please.
Hutnick,
Here.
Poznansky, St. Laurent,
Here.
Murdoch,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
Van Wormer,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Oswald.
Here. Okay, let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, if we can go ahead and approve the agenda for this evening.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
We need a second.
I second.
Second by
Murray.
Marty. Okay, thank you.
Forgot my name.
Got that, Kay?
Yep.
All right. Approval of the minutes.
All in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes for August 19th. We had a special meeting, and September 22nd, the joint meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the special minutes from the August 19th meeting.
I'll second the meeting.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The September 22nd meeting of the joint meeting minutes. We need a motion?
Was it the 22nd or the 23rd? This says the 22nd, but the minutes themselves say the 23rd.
So we're gonna-
I just want to.
Look at that, good.
22nd, was it a Monday?
It was actually, yes, it was actually the 22nd.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the joint meeting minutes, making the correction on the date to be the 22nd.
Okay. Second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This evening, we have here a public forum. If you would like to comment on any non-agenda items, we have made a change. So at the end of our meeting, if you notice there on our agenda, it is item 10. Public forum, again, will be for any comments of agenda items or anything else that you would like to add. Okay, so in a public forum, anybody have anything they would like to discuss? Okay, all right. Let's move on to our financial report.
Okay, we have two financial reports to receive, and the first one's from August through August 22nd. Total deposits were $1,003.69. Total bills presented for approval are $15,314.86. Our fund balance was $185,804.05.
Okay. All right. Anybody? Okay. All right, make a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve the financial report.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, moving on to approve.
Need
Was
a
that
roll
for
call.
August?
I'm sorry. Yep,
Discussion
that's
and
right.
vote, yeah.
Any discussion?
I just have one question on, it's a little tough to read, but the Etsy invoice,
What is it? I'm sorry?
it looks like it's for Etsy.
Etsy? That's just for graphics for different things we've designed. What's the total amount?
It's hard to say, it's tiny.
$6.
So it's small.
$6.
amount. I'm just curious, well, I wasn't sure if we purchased from Etsy or for design services.
We purchased artwork
Okay.
for designing of whatever we were working on.
Any more discussion? Okay.
I just had one other, the generator.
That's the QR code program that we use.
Got it, okay.
Any other? Okay,
I'll take a roll call.
These are right here.
roll call.
Did you say, Marty, what was it? Oh,
I know it's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got it?
good?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Roll call.
I see what you're saying. It's easier to read.
Murdoch?
Here.
Van
Sorry.
Wormer?
Was that a yes?
Yes, sorry.
Yes. Hutnick?
Yes.
St. Laurent?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Oswald?
Yes. Okay. Approve the payment of bills that have been paid. Any discussion on that?
So are we on to the next set for September?
Approve payment and bills.
So the second set of financials received from Plant Moran go through September 23rd. Total deposits for Tri-County Bank were $422.45. Total deposits to the People Driven Marketing account, $3,462.14. Total bills presented for approval, Tri-County, were $17,369.72. Total bills presented for approval on the marketing was $285.53. Fund balance is $182,764.35.
All right. Any discussion?
I just have a question. There is some here on 8/19, there was 3 checks written. It looks like they were written to the DDA for $1,254 and then $691.
Where are you looking at? I'm sorry.
On reconciliation report of 8/29. So there's 3 checks written to, well, there's a couple checks written to Romeo DDA that starts at the 4th one down for $1,250. And then there's another one for $137.50, and then one for $810.46, and then one for $1,000, and then one for $254.10.
What page are we on? I don't know.
I don't know.
And then there's 2 more that don't have a payee, one for $691.75 and one for $3,000.
I see the transaction reports. I see statement of activity.
It's this one, Kay, the one that looks like the list. It's right after the transaction list. I think there's, maybe the lines just aren't lining up on this reconciliation report, because if I look at the transaction list and try to compare the two, that check for $1,250, check number 3431, looks like it is contracted accounting services.
Okay,
Amy?
so I did go through today and correct a few of the things Plant Moran had categorized them for.
Okay,
The $1,250 is for our social media.
okay.
Okay.
The $3,400 is for the remaining balance of our CRM. What else? Which one?
1834, oh, that's pay period, sorry.
There's one for, okay, this says, on this one, it says professional services for the thousands, that makes sense.
Is that check 3442?
Yeah,
Okay.
And then on here, I guess, let me see if I can backside. Okay, that's another one, that's professional contracting, the 1,000. And then there's one on here on 8/22 for 3,000. Check number 3425.
That was moving our promotion budgeted account, promotion funds over to the new people-driven credit account.
Okay, that's just a transfer.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. motion to approve the payments of bills paid.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second, anyone?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Van Wormer,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Oswald.
Yes. Okay, going on to funding request. MJC Marketplace, the Witches and Warlocks return to Romeo.
Okay, so we have an event sponsorship form for the Witches and Warlock Return to Romeo in an effort to draw the Tilson crowd into downtown, attract visitors from across the region, and to extend visitor duration of stay in accordance to our visitor strategy. MJC Marketplace has offered to organize the Witches and Warlocks Return to Romeo event. The event will run from 1 to 5 p.m. on 10/25, and by using a mission-based theme of breaking the world record, we anticipate between 2,000 and 3,000 visitors to this event. Event promotion has already gained response from multiple media sources, as well as county officials that continue to highlight Romeo and their coverage and participation. Action needed, motion to approve funding Witches and Warlock Return to Romeo event in the amount of $2,000.
Okay, discussion?
I have a couple questions. So I think this is a great event, but I did send an email to the chair and to Kay, just kind of expressing some concerns that were brought up to me regarding the event. So I had two merchants reach out to me and question the event and what was going on with it.
Can you name those merchants?
No, I've asked them to come, but they did not feel comfortable to the board.
Okay.
So they were asked to provide checks to the DDA to buy into the program. And the concern was, if it's a DDA event, right, why are they having to pay into it to the DDA? I wasn't aware that it was a DDA event. Upon talking with you both, it is not a DDA event. So there was some question on why, if it's not a DDA event, are we asking people to purchase and send a check to the DDA? Then the next question that came out of it was, if this is an MJC event, why are merchants being asked to pay to the DDA to be a part of it? So I know we touched on it a little bit in email. I just want, for the sake of
Sure.
clarity and transparency,
Absolutely.
wanted to just have a better discussion of that here. Again, I think it's a great event. I'm excited for it. I'm a little bit concerned on the way that it has come about. I'm a little bit concerned that we have a business requesting funding, and honestly, and it's not personal, I'm just being honest with what's been brought to
Sure,
me and my
absolutely.
feelings. I'm a little bit concerned that we have a business who is voting on giving DDA money back to their business. I think that may be a concern and a gray area, and that was something that was brought up to me. So my first question, and I think I did receive an answer on this, is whose event is this? And it's, I was told that it's from the visionary leaders discussion and from members there that it is an MJC event, which is great. But then my question is, are we going to fund an individual business's event, especially if that business is a board member and a voting board member? If it's a DDA event, then my question is, how come the DDA was not brought into communication about this even kind of growing to this point? My last question, in looking for what the requested money is for, I did notice, and I double-checked today on my way here, we still have porta potties in the park. So,
It's from the Parks and Rec.
but I'm just saying, they're there. So, the expectation was to purchase additional porta potties from what's already in there. So those were my concerns. Those were the concerns that were brought up to me. So I guess to better get an understanding is, whose event is this? And if it is the DDA event, then the DDA board should be making those decisions. They shouldn't be made outside of this board. If it is an individual businesses or a group of businesses event, then I think we need to know who are those businesses, what have they put into the event, if we're going to be giving money towards it. There's just seems to be a lot of gray with this. I understand that we haven't had 2 meetings because of quorum, but I have a bit of an issue with the fact of things moving forward outside of the board table. And my last question is, has any DDA money already been spent for this event?
Yeah.
So a lot of million questions, I know, but that's kind of where I'm at, and
So what's your first and foremost question?
whose
And we'll-
event is it?
So, good
It's a
question.
downtown event.
Yeah.
Who's behind it?
Who's organizing it? MJC.
Okay, so that's my question. It's an MJC event, because that's who the check is being asked for. My next question is, has the DDA put any funds out for this prior to this board approving those funds?
Yes, we have. Just in promoting the event and making sure that it had the proper promotion.
Can
But
you-
it is in our approved budget for these events. So when we approved our budget earlier this year, we said, okay, we're gonna put this money into a bucket, and we're going, I think it was $10,000, and we're gonna use it to sponsor 5 major events, 5 smaller events. So the money is there. Probably shouldn't have spent anything until we had formal approval that you guys wanted to support this event. Again, that is just due to the lack of meetings that we've had. If we
I
waited until
thought-
today, we wouldn't be pulling this
I
up.
thought we did have this come up in one, like not the August meeting, but the,
I mean, we've been talking about it for,
yeah, I thought we did
3 months, but-
approve
Well-
this being one of the projects that was going to use that money.
No, Missy, I think we were given the information as information, and I
Oh.
asked,
Yeah.
whose event is this, what is this? And was told the Visionary Leaders Circle, and at that point, I asked if the Visionary Leaders Circle should be a subcommittee of this DDA. If we're using resources and expending, whether it's money, time, effort, then should it be a subcommittee of the DDA? And I think the response at that time was no, it shouldn't be. And that it was, completely separate. But I think it's kind of, I don't know, maybe that should be up for discussion again.
Mhm.
Which, and I will say to that, you're right, it should be. So here's the thing, we've had a event that was just a couple of weeks ago. That was the Golden Girls event for the Visionary. It was for the village. And we shared all that with that. Very minimal cost. We did that.
When you say we, who is we?
The Visionary people, the Visionary group.
The
that-
downtown businesses.
The downtown businesses,
Right.
that, okay, so that's the
But
Visionary
I
group.
just want to understand, the DDA did not put money into the Golden Girls.
We did.
We did, but here's how. When we did the cruise in Maine, I had a check for $250 for entertainment. Because of the weather every Wednesday, we ended up not having to have the entertainment. So I gave that check back to the DDA, because we never used it. We didn't need it, and so I gave it back. So this next event that came up, I did not request any money for that. I figured we just need to have minimal printing. We didn't meet, so I couldn't ask for another $250 to go back into it. So I think it was just one of those things, we just kind of rolled with it. There was minimal, again, printing that was included in with that. And of course, as a DDA, we are doing social media. We're helping out via social media, so that was there as well.
So are you, just so I understand, are we saying that we use that $250 kind of, since it wasn't used for music, we used it in place for Golden Girls?
Yes.
So the problem with that is that those are decisions that this board makes as a group.
How can we make decisions when we don't meet? There's going to be times,
No, then you call a special meeting.
okay.
We are a
which
government, let me just
I
finish.
totally-
We are a government
I totally get that.
board. We are not a club. And to have one or two people make a decision of how this board spends money it's against the DDA bylaws. So if we don't have board members that can show up and have a quorum, then we don't have a meeting, and you call a special meeting to do business. The problem is that we've talked extensively over the last couple months about transparency and having people be able to come and speak and be part of our meetings. And what it feels like to me with the situations that I'm seeing happening is that we're just doing it anyway. And
Isn't that why we hired a DDA director, though, to take care of these situations when we aren't able to?
no, we did not hire a DDA director to handpick events to finance.
It's not handpicking. It's doing what's out there, and it's there. This just kind of evolved. It kind of,
But things can't.
it's a community event.
But you're telling me it's two things. It's either an MJC event or it's a community event.
It's both.
It's both, though.
Okay, so
That's what
what
it's turned into.
businesses have put in and are helping to promote this?
What businesses that are helping to promote
Who else is putting money
this?
into this event?
Well, personally, I am.
Okay.
Okay, but also, we've got People's Driven that has all kind of things that they've got planned for this. We also have I'm trying to think, Marty, who just, we have.
Today?
Yeah, so we've got.
The Mitt TV.
The Mitt TV.
We have the
We've got
Dairy
different
Queen.
things that are happening, but I
Right.
think what happened with this, Andrea, is it's not something like, okay, this is the MJC event and that's all that. No, it just evolved that we came up with this idea, how can we draw, we keep saying, every time I hear it, how can we bring the people from Tilson Street up
100%.
here, right? So this kind of happened. I don't want this to be an MJC event. I want it to be a community event.
And I understand.
And that's how this started. And I want this to be a community event. It kind of just like, all of a sudden, all these people are coming to us. This is great. This is wonderful. I want to be a part of it. We've got Parks and Rec. They've now moved their contest up into Main Street. I get what you're saying.
I don't think you do though, because my issue is not the event. I think we all want the town filled with people.
Then what is exactly the issue?
Well, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. The fact that this was done without, there's a reason that there's people appointed to the board. There's a reason you have to have a quorum to make decisions. There's a reason we meet. And when there is not a meeting, the second option is not, well, it just kind of got away from us, so we went ahead and did it. That's just, it's against our bylaws, it's against the spirit of having a board.
What did we do that got away from us?
Well, that's what you're saying, it just,
No,
it grew.
I'm just saying,
Well,
it's growing, and we're saying, okay, is
Okay.
it a DDA event? Is it an MJC event?
Right.
I don't want it to be an MJC
But it
event.
is.
I want it to be a Romeo event.
But
But then
there's-
here's this thing.
But Kathy, there's not a Romeo event. Things have to be kind of managed or owned by somebody. It's either a DDA event, it's an MJC event, it's a historical society event, it's a Rotary Club event. We can't just say that it's just a Romeo thing. Who are we writing a check to? And my question is when this board or members of this board have decided to move forward with something without board approval, it certainly puts us in an awkward situation. If this board were to vote no on this today, we've already spent money. How do we rectify that? How do we recognize that we have spent money that this board did not approve? And that's where my concern comes in. And then when businesses are saying, well, wait a minute, why am I being told to write a check to the DDA? I already pay my taxes. And they're being told to write a check to be able to be part of and to be promoted on something, then the question is, well, it's a DDA thing. Well, then, it goes back to the second question of where did this DDA event come from?
The only check that was asked and again, I did tell that, the couple of people that I reached out to for an informational map for people, because it has grown into the point of we're going to probably have about 2,000 to 3,000 people attend. And because I thought that there was probably a point where it's going to be more money than I need for that, I said, you know what, make it out to the DDA.
But-
That's,
And I understand that.
and
but-
that.
But my point is, and again, it's not about how, I mean, the slant that, well, this is gonna bring so many people to town and it's a great event, that's not in question. It's a
And I know,
fabulous
and I
event.
know that it's not in question, but here's the thing. We haven't been able to meet as a board
And-
in order to do this.
But then you
This was
call a
already-
special meeting.
But we got an email saying not to schedule special meetings.
No, there was an email that said, because we do not have a quorum, we do not call a special meeting to go through an entire agenda. But if we need to have a specific item addressed, you call a special meeting. Otherwise, there's no reason for us to have a board, there's no reason for us to have a quorum. Because one or two people are making decisions.
I
or
did
three or
ask
four.
I did ask to have a special meeting for this.
But you call it, you're the chair.
I did ask for a
You-
special meeting for this. I said something to Kay, and she said that there was a request not to have special meetings.
That's ridiculous, quite honestly. It is your right and your ability as the chair to call a special meeting, or 3 board members can call a special meeting. I did request not to be doing, when we first meeting, we didn't have a quorum for in August. And then there was a special meeting called to redo the entire agenda, and I said, that's very difficult, and that's not the spirit of a special meeting. What I said was, if you call a special meeting, because we have business that cannot wait until the next meeting. But again, it goes against the reason for having a board. It goes against the reason for having public forum if things are just moving by because we couldn't get enough board members to show up. That's my concern. This is discussion of the item, so I'm
Okay.
discussing it. I am an appointed board member. I do have a voice and a say. So, to try to change it that I just, I don't appreciate the value of the event is not what the concern is. What I do not appreciate is when something's coming to us for approval, to find out money's already been spent. What's the use of approving it? Right? Why are we gonna go through this?
The money I'm requesting has not been spent.
But money was already spent for this event. Is that true or not true?
Yeah.
So
And I
how
think-
much has been spent?
And I think, like, less than $500, like $400.
But, and again, it's not about the dollar amount, it's about the fact that it's happening.
Yeah.
So if this board, again, no say on the value of the event, it's a say on how we've got to where we're at. If this board were to vote no, we have expended funds that were not approved by this board. We have made commitments to spend funds that have not been approved by this board. And all I'm asking is that as we go forward, we allow this board to do what it is supposed to do, which is vote on expenditures and on decisions that are made, not to find out about it after the fact.
Agreed. I think that this year has been a little bit different, this is our first year, to my understanding, that we've switched things to, we're not gonna host and organize events, we're gonna sponsor them, and we're putting that onus on our businesses to do this for their community and to build these events and to organize them, which is a big, tall ask for our businesses. Vintage Fest and Peach Fest and all these others that have been around forever, they have systems, processes, volunteers, they have all of this. This grew so quickly and rapidly, and we had one business that had it on their shoulders. So I stepped in to try to help where I could, and that's what happened. But it absolutely, as far as it goes, like funding, we should have approval before we spend anything.
So could this instance be like an example of maybe where there's some flaws in figuring out how we can fund these events?
Yes.
And maybe we can come up with an actual, plan that, a checklist almost. If somebody has an event that they want to submit, there's steps and processes. They can go to the office, pick up a copy, and know exactly what is needed, what we're gonna ask them, how to present it, so that this doesn't happen in the future.
And it's just like the promotion of it too. I'm looking at it as the lens of the state of Michigan is going to see the promotion on this. And so I wanted it to look nice. I wanted it to have our logo on it. I wanted it to be a downtown event, right? And that's how I was marketing it. But it caused confusion with the businesses. I think what's gonna cause more confusion if MJC Marketplaces, it's one of those things, like,
And again, I am not questioning the value of the event. I'm questioning the way we got to where we're at. We, to what you're saying, Missy, we do have, it's on our website, this request for funding for an event or program. Kind of lists what the expectation is, what needs to be done, when it has to be in, all that good stuff is there. I think the issue is that we just didn't follow our own program. And we kind of, jumped ahead and made the assumption of, yeah, this is something we're all gonna support, let's keep going with it. And I think sometimes, especially when it is tax dollars and when we're held to government requirements, again, not a club or not just a group, I don't mean to turn my back to you, not a club or not just a group throwing in money together, but when it's government spending and we are held to government, rules and bylaws, we gotta follow them. Regardless of the good intentions that we have, we still need to follow and spend money appropriately. And that is that our business happens at the board table. Even when we have committees, the committees don't make decisions. If you remember when we had the committees before, the committees came back and made a recommendation, and then this board votes on it. So my ask is that going forward, we follow the funding request program that we have, and we allow this board to be part of the decision-making.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. I do understand, and I do agree with you at some points. And like I said, it did kind of get away from us in some respects of the gray area of whose event it was and that, and it just was, again, it grew, it was quick. But that brings up something that I would like to see, as Missy said, that I think that it's something that we need to address. And and don't get me wrong, I agree with you, I understand that. I kind of feel like Kay and I both got kind of like, okay, this is what's happening. People are reaching out to her, the DDA, which is what I would want them to. I don't want this to be an MJC Marketplace event. I want it to be a Romeo event, and that's what what it has become. And you're right, we have these things that we need to clear up, and that's one of the things, and again, I'll address it more at the end of the meeting, but we need to address these. And I totally, I want you to understand, I agree with you. I see that, and when it was brought up to me, and when you had emailed, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, you know what? This is something that we have to address. We want to keep in line with it. So I would like to take that at the end of the meeting, toward the end, and some ideas that I would like to do and go further with. So with that, is there anything else, Andrea, that?
No, like I said,
Okay.
it's again, it's not, I want to be clear, it's not an issue with the event.
I understand.
It's an issue with our process.
Right.
And
And you're right, it is an issue with,
and
I totally agree, it is an issue with our process, and I think we can do better. And
when
I
we're,
think we should change it.
Government moves slow, and so when you're a
Yeah.
government board,
Yeah.
sometimes as much as things are moving and picking up speed, we need to say, wait a minute.
Right.
Legally, we
I-
can't
no,
do that.
No, and
Legally, we have to put a
again,
pin in this.
I totally understand where you're coming from, and I think we do definitely need to address this.
And that's why it's so important for board members to show up at these meetings, because we can't, it just sets us back, and things
Right.
like this happen.
Right, and absolutely with that. So, moving onward, is there any more discussion?
My only other question is with the funding, we have 2 contracts in here. One is for a tent and stage, and then one is for porta-johns. Have we already signed and committed to these?
Have we? No. They've sent us the information and the pricing, but that's all as far as we've gone.
Yeah, we're in their calendar.
Yeah,
So
nothing has been signed.
do we need porta-johns, given that there's already porta-johns in the park?
There is one porta-john in the park. I know that. Other than that, I don't know why that porta-john is there.
It's been there
I don't think,
Or
weirdly
who's
forever.
taking
and I don't
care
think
of it.
one porta-john
I
in
was
the
just gonna
village
say,
is gonna
one
be
porta-john
good.
is not gonna cover
And-
that amount of people.
And it may not, but when we had our last event with porta-johns, I can't remember what event it was. but they came back and said that they were not used. So, was it
Okay,
Vintage Fest that
But
we did?
however, that
was-
doesn't mean maybe just that time they
Right,
weren't
that's-
used very often. But
I
having
know.
done events in the past and, yeah, they do need to
I'm
be
just saying, the
there.
last time we paid for them,
person.
they said that
Like-
they were not used in the park.
Right.
Just
No, I know,
making a
I
note of
understand.
that.
And most of the businesses do put signs up that say there's no public restroom. So I would say most businesses in Romeo will not allow public use
No,
of the restrooms.
I know, I'm just saying, as
Yeah.
far as usage, the last event,
Right.
they were not used, that came from the Porta John Company.
Right.
So just making sure that. if
And
we're
were
gonna-
they, were, in which area weren't they
They were in the
used? Do you
park.
remember?
I wanna say
Was
they were
it
in
the park?
But
Okay.
don't quote me on it, I'm just, but with this, if people are changing into
Which-
costumes, they may get
Which, by
more
the way,
use.
though, might be good information, because if that really is the case, because at this point, with this particular event, we don't have anything going on in the park, so maybe
Put them on Main Street.
we just put them in the other two
Further.
areas that will be used.
Where is the tent and stage going?
Those will be in the and on Main Street.
So Main Street's getting closed?
Right.
Okay,
correct.
got it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Anybody? Andrea? Anybody? Danielle? No? Okay. All right. Moving on. All right.
Well, we
Do we
didn't
make
vote.
a motion?
No, I'm just, let's moving on for a motion.
I make a motion for MJC Marketplace to receive the $2,000 funding to get the Witches and Warlocks started. Or to move on with Witches and Warlocks, yeah. Okay.
So I'll second, but that's for the porta johns, the stage, and the signage, correct? Yes, okay. I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Hutnick,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
St. Laurent,
No.
Stevens,
I have a question.
yes.
Can I abstain?
No.
For what reason?
How much time you guys got?
Well,
No, I'm seriously. How
This
much
should
time
be
do
a
you have?
pretty-
I mean, I've been part of this downtown development of Florida from the time I was 28 years old, and it was all started way back when. And sometimes when I'm in the meetings here, I get a little confused about the 2% and where it's supposed to go. My personal feeling is, if I want to improve, and most of you people know, and there's not many people here, but most people, if we're on TV or whatever, I have my own business in downtown. I look at that 2% as something that would improve the look, the hey, come to Romeo because it's a beautiful place, a clean park. I could go on, and that's what I look at that 2% for. For me to improve my business bottom line, I don't look to the DDA to get funding to do something that I believe I should be doing myself. The money from the 2%, and if I'm wrong on this, seriously, shoot this. I mean, my wife does all the bills, okay? And I used to be the 2% was the number for the taxation we have in the Central Business District. I think it's my responsibility, if I want to improve my business, is to spend it out of my own pocket and not the other people that are spending, the owners of the buildings in the community. That's not what they're paying the tax for. At least that's what I believe.
so Tom, I think you're.
And so I'm a little bit confused as to,
Well, I don't think it's a confusion, that's your opinion, so that's your vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, each one of us has a voice here, and we come from different perspectives, whether it's a resident, whether it's a business owner, whether it's a building and business owner, so everybody is keeping in mind all of those things that are affected by it, and we were all appointed because of those different areas that we represent. So when it comes to a vote, unless there is a personal reason, you know, that you would be benefiting specifically from something that you're voting on, you have to vote.
And I think just to add to that, I think you have to vote with your conscience, whether it's popular or not. Trust me, I know. So I think that you vote with, you know, that's why you were appointed to the board.
Okay. And just so that, you know, the audience knows that I have a problem with taking money. I feel like I'm taking money from another building owner, property owner, to do something to benefit my business, which I think is my responsibility to do that. So in this case, I'm gonna have, I can't abstain, but I can vote no.
Van Wormer,
Yes.
Lee,
No.
Oswald,
Yes.
so motion passes 4-3.
Okay. Let's move on to the funding request for the Romeo Historical Society Christmas Home Tour.
So
Any
we rec-
discussion?
We received an event funding form from the Romeo Historical Society Christmas Home Tour. It's an annual event where guests are invited to tour 5 decorated homes inside and out, 500 tickets sold in previous years, 2 museums and other merchant events surround this event. The action needed is a motion to approve funding Christmas Home Tour event in the amount of $1,000.
And this is what we gave last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion?
I think it looks about the same as it did last year, so I'll make a motion to approve the funding.
We need a second.
I'll second the motion to approve the funding.
Okay. Roll call?
Van Wormer,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Hutnick,
I mean, I think it's it's great, the home tour, everything. People love it. But I'm not gonna lie, I am upset about the previous vote, but I am gonna vote yes.
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Stevens,
Nope.
Lee,
Yes.
Oswald.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1,
Okay,
5-1, sorry.
all right. Okay, all right. Let's move on to new business. All right. We have a Village of Romeo Tree Board presentation.
Do you mind if I stand up here?
Oh, please do.
That would be
Thank
perfect.
you.
Thank you. So my name is Terry Bullard, and on behalf of the Tree Board, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we are currently working on. We have partnered with Davie Resource Group, which is an urban forestry consulting firm that provides services to municipalities for their parks, downtowns, and their green spaces. They've done a complete inventory of the trees throughout the village. That includes the commercial district as well as the trees within the easements of the residential streets. And they provided us an assessment of each tree and what, if anything, needs to be done with them. They've trained us on the tree management software program so that we can proactively keep track of, maintain, and increase the tree canopy so that we can maintain our property values and to no small extent make Romeo a more sustainable and desirable place to live. I also wanted to tell you about some information on the importance of trees in the downtown shopping district, about the major role that trees play in creating an atmosphere that encourages people to spend more time and more money in the downtown area, which plays into your attraction strategy. There's a series of research studies that were conducted out of the University of Washington. They focus on the differences in the shopper behaviors in downtowns, both with trees and without trees. In the downtowns with trees, the studies show that the shoppers are willing to travel longer distances, visit more frequently, stay longer, and pay more for the products. And if you think about your own experience when you go to places like Northville or Traverse City, something similar to that, the overall vibe of their businesses in their business districts is more comfortable and vibrant. We all tend to spend a little bit more money in those areas because of the investment that they've made in their trees and their greenery. And it all works to enhance your mood before you even step foot into the stores or the restaurants. It creates sort of like a vacation-like feeling where you feel a little bit more carefree and like it's okay to be a little more indulgent with your spending. And you don't have to travel 4 hours north to get there. You can do it in Romeo. So there's definitely a positive psychological impact of trees and greenery on the moods of shoppers in a downtown business district. And underestimating that can definitely negatively impact the bottom line of your businesses. The studies also show that downtowns without trees, the shoppers' perceptions include descriptions such as unattractive, sterile, bleak, feeling exposed, harsh and less pedestrian-friendly, lower quality businesses, and lack of investment or care from the town or community. And like you would guess, this is having the opposite effect, where shoppers, particularly regional visitors, are citing that they are less likely to make the drive, less visits, not as likely to stay as long, or spend as much money. And I can provide links to these studies so you can take a deeper dive into them if you're interested. A lot of them do a very good job of summarizing it so you don't have to get into the graphs and the charts and the statistics. You can just read their summary conclusions and the details, some details behind that. And if you'll just indulge me for a minute, I just want to show you some pictures that I pulled off the internet. And you can just, between two of you. The first group of 3 pictures are downtowns without trees. And the second group are downtowns with trees.
Thank you.
So that looks like
Now, in the pictures where you see the downtowns without trees, there's a couple in there that actually have a few trees that have been planted, but they're so small that they don't benefit from a mature tree canopy, which is what we're really talking about. Okay. So, and the other thing is, I think most of us have all become aware that the sun is becoming increasingly hotter and brighter with every passing summer. And a canopy of shade trees is going to become critical to maintaining a flow of people that are willing to walk down our streets to shop in the summer. Even when the actual air temperatures are reasonably pleasant, like they were over Labor Day weekend, it was hard to tolerate standing or sitting in if you didn't have any shade. In fact, I actually was up on the Kedzior library porch with my mother. It was very shaded. In fact, we had light jackets on, but there was a family of a couple of parents and their grandparents and 3 kids that were out at the curb in front of us, and they kept rotating, coming back in to get some relief because they didn't happen to have any shade by them. So, I mean, and I know some of you were out there, maybe out on the podiums and that, and maybe even doing some of the speaking, I don't know, but I don't know if you had the shade, but if you didn't, it was brutal, and I felt bad for the people that were in the parades because it's definitely different than it's been in a long time. We are noticing that it's just, the sun is brutal these days. But those trees that are on our downtown, they are badly in need of pruning. So with the downtown streetscape project being likely 2 to 3 years out, from what I understand, we think it would be good value for the DDA to have the downtown shopping districts pruned. It would make the downtown look much tidier. And it would also reduce the risk of falling branches. And just to give you an idea of the cost of of this type of pruning, we did reach out to Davie Resource Group and got a quote. Now, we only had it for being Main Street from Newberry down to Washington, and obviously we know that's not the entire purview of the shopping district, or the Downtown Development Authority's purview, but it still gives you a pretty good idea of the cost, which is less than $200 a tree. And just to give you an idea, I had no idea, there's 31 trees on Main Street between Newberry and Washington. Does that surprise any of you? That there's that? I was surprised by it. So they did mark one for actual removal. It's beyond anything that can be done with it. So it will be removed. The other thing I want to mention is that we understand that the complaints that business owners have for trees in the downtown. If they're covering your signs, they're messy, or they're lifting some of the pavers on the sidewalk. But there are communities across the U.S. that have committed to trees because they know the value of them, and they are doing what it takes to make sure that the trees work for them, and so that you can actually get the economic benefits, which basically includes getting more people willing to be in your area and being, comfortable and in a good mood before they step into your stores. But a critical element of having trees in a downtown is a well-defined responsibility between the differing authorities. A lot of these maintenance programs that you see across the U.S., they're shared responsibility between something like a DDA and the village board, or possibly some additional stakeholders. So it's really important that that's defined and well communicated, so that the trees don't end up looking neglected, which is basically where we're at now. Those trees, there's all kinds of suckers growing out of them. They look terrible, and honestly, I shouldn't say they don't look bad, but they're providing great shade, what they call dappled shade, which is what we need. We don't want a heavy shade. Those honey locusts that are out there are actually a decent tree for a downtown. They're very they easily tolerate salt. They're just a good overall tree. They just need a lot of care, and that's why we think, if it's going to be 2 or 3 years before you guys do something with the streetscape, it would go a long way to get them pruned now and just make them look tidier and less issues.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I guess question. Did this group talk at all, Davie, about these trees getting large thorns on them and having to treat them?
No.
Okay. That was one of the concerns in the streetscape project, that there are.
The current trees have large thorns, is that what you're
They
saying?
revert to that, and some of them are, and so to treat them, it would be, what was it, $500 a tree or
Yes,
something?
it's $500 a
To
tree.
stop them from-
getting these large thorns that could fall.
They
on
did
them.
not address that.
Okay. What about the heaving pavers, like you said, or the cement? Was there any solutions to that at all?
Clark was familiar with some of the,
These, this species of trees normally don't, they're selected for, planting it where they are, and they normally don't raise the sidewalks and stuff. There is, and in Romeo, you've got these steel, I don't know what you
Grates.
call them, around the
Yeah.
trees and stuff.
yeah.
But there are other things to do to put around trees that might outgrow that steel and everything. And it's a product that's mentioned in some of the literature we've given you. But as a general rule, these trees do not damage the sidewalks,
But didn't you say something about,
what?
you can actually, grind down?
Yeah, there's things you can do with it without having to, basically, you know, you can, hire a company to come in to shave off the bumps and stuff where the, you know, the two might rise, because of, maybe not just because of the tree, but some other thing happened to have the ground raised a little bit, but the sidewalks could be smoothed out without having to replace all of them.
Some of the articles that I came across actually talked about what it takes to install trees properly so that they have the right space and the soil structure in order for the roots to go deep. It doesn't look like these were that, I mean, I wouldn't say that they were installed poorly. I don't know, it was probably 30 years ago, long before any of you might, well, not you, but we're on the downtown.
Except for Tom.
Only because you revealed it, so.
Yeah, my high
Everybody-
school sweetheart, I got here in 1980, so we graduated from Eisenhower, but we're still Romeo people.
But we do have a situation, though, where the sidewalks are coming up.
Yeah.
And
The
not-
sidewalks themselves or the brick pavers?
The sidewalks.
No, the sidewalks themselves. And different areas more than others. We've done a walk several times with the company, and I love trees, don't get me, I'm with you on that, but also we have to look at the fact, it looks like they might have been put in properly, but I think long-term we have to look at, I mean, we're looking at spending a lot of money on this project.
The streetscape project?
Yes, yes, thank you, on the streetscape project, but I think that maybe if you could work with us and a solution with that, just like Danielle has said, like, what do we do when the actual sidewalks are coming up, not just with the
Yeah.
brick pavers, and there are some parts where, I mean, I really have to watch where I walk. I'm not a young person anymore, and I'm
Yeah.
like, really, and it's because of the roots of the trees coming up. Even if we were to shave them,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do, like, in the future? So, I mean, do you have any other,
You know, we're not coming to you, telling you what to do, because, you know, you, the DDA, have to spend the money. We're looking at it as a recommendation, and this time of the year is the best time to go ahead and do that. If you're looking at a project as big as you are, and I've read, what little I've read, you know, is 3 to some years down the road, it might affect some of those trees, but this is a short-term solution to help get Romeo looking, you know, beautiful again. Because what happens in Romeo, in downtown Romeo, and I appreciate everything the DDA does, but it affects the suburbs in Romeo too. And if you start to look a little discombobulated and it doesn't look that great, people in the neighborhoods don't do anything either. So if the DDA does it for a short-term fix,
Okay.
it's $200 a piece.
And
It's not a lot of
also,
money.
I would say,
Excuse me
part
for
of,
the golf
part of
cart.
the, part of the presentation was to try to show that trees, not having trees in the downtown can have a pretty big economic impact on your businesses. And if there's ever a vote to get rid of the trees, I would hope that you don't do that. Because, well, first, the obvious, what I said, the economic impact, but also, I think you are gonna find people coming out of the woodwork at the next board meeting that happens after, you know, trees are removed. People that didn't even think they cared about trees in the downtown are gonna be coming out of the woodwork, and it probably will be one of the most unpleasant village board meetings. And I'm not saying that as a threat or anything.
I don't know about that.
Well,
We're not going down the road there, but if you read our ordinances, before the trees can be removed in any place in the village of Romeo, it requires our board approval.
Yeah, I think
So-
you provided the pretty good example of like cityscapes that don't have trees and what
Yeah.
they look like. I'm in favor of trees. I just would like like, if we do have to replace trees, that we pick ones that would be a little bit more easy to manage,
Yeah.
in terms of, like, long-term care.
Yeah, I don't think it's our plan the long-term plan is not to
Okay.
remove
Right.
trees. What, if I'm understanding correctly, what you're proposing is, kind of to use your words, Clark, like, this is a temporary fix to get us through until
Yeah.
we're able to make the big
Yeah,
decision on the
because
streetscape.
the street, from what we understand, the streetscape project isn't gonna happen for a little bit.
So with the tree board, so this is a quote of 7,520. I think it's something that maybe on our next co-meeting with the Board of Trustees, maybe something worth looking at. Does the tree board provide any funding? Is this a partnership that you're looking for?
That's not what we initially intended, but it's not off the table.
Is this the only quote that you've
Thank you,
sought
that's-
out?
Well,
That's what I was gonna ask too.
initially, we went out and we didn't actually even, it's not even inclusive of St. Clair. So it's not an inclusive, but it does provide a general, it's less than $200 a tree. Oh, and what it includes is taking the canopy up 12 feet, both on the sidewalk side and the street side, removing all of the suckers, the ramp suckers up to 13 feet, taking the pruning away 4 to 6 feet away from any of the buildings, and where, in cases where the trees are actually overhanging a building, they would raise the canopy up 10 feet from that.
Okay.
So I think a good next step would be if we can put this on our agenda with our co-board of trustees meeting. If maybe your board wants to see if you have any funds that can come to the table with it, and maybe if all the boards agreed that this is what they want to do, maybe the three can work together and get it done.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to, you know, address something while we're working on the other things.
Right.
I just am, I'm in favor of just getting maybe at least one more quote so that we can just compare
Yeah.
what we've got for prices here, just to make sure that we're not
That's
missing out on
only
something.
Main Street, Newberry to
Right.
Washington, so.
Yeah, and it's a smaller area, like, than
Yeah.
all of Main Street, but there is, I think this area has some of the more, I guess what I would call problematic.
And I think if we
Trees
brought-
visually.
Yeah, and if we brought an inclusive quote, then all the boards can decide, you know, do we want to do the whole thing? Do we want to
Yeah.
say, you know what, we're gonna do the Main Street, you know what I mean? We can start making decisions,
Yeah.
whether the boards agree to, and then it also helps them decide how much money they can put towards it.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth a further discussion, because I agree, I think that we've got a strong streetscape plan, but something needs to happen in the interim of that happening.
And we're not coming to you and say that, you know, this is just a short, you know, a proposal. You know, we're using Davy Tree Service to do our inventory and to do our pruning and stuff in Romeo. In fact, in Romeo, if we look at this inventory, we got 119 trees we gotta see about replacing
Right.
over the next couple of years. You know,
That's
we're
the only
funding
concern
problem
about.
ourselves, but,
Yeah,
by and
the,
large, go ahead and look for somebody else. We're not saying that exclusively we gotta use Davy Tree Service.
I think last year, there was a presentation, I can't remember if it was at just a DDA event or if it was at a joint event, from a gentleman that I believe was with either Michigan State or MDARD. And he said something about also doing an inventory. Was that done through Davy, or was that a separate inventory?
I've only been on the tree board
Okay.
once.
Inventory, we went out and had a grant.
Okay.
And that grant was funded through the DNR.
Okay, the
slash-
That's what it
Tree
was, yeah.
Service that did this for us.
Okay, so it was in conjunction with Davy, and the
Right.
DNR? Okay,
Right.
all right.
So is there like the super tree that would work on every street? Or is it dependent on how much water may be coming under that particular part of the ground? Or, I mean, is that a dumb question?
The article.
You know, is there like the great,
No, it's not a
so
question.
much of this
There's no
history?
one solution fits all, though.
Okay, that's
So if
my
you're planning
question,
on doing
yeah.
something, the tree board would work with you to help you come up with that the best fit for the downtown area, but, and that's what we're here for.
Okay.
The bottom line is that we
okay.
want to help you make trees work for you and not be a hassle and a problem for you. So whatever we can do to help with that, as far as connecting you with resources, doing our own research and helping come up with the best tree selection. The one we have now, surprisingly, is not the worst tree. In fact, a lot of communities use that tree.
I think I remember hearing that they use locust.
Yeah, but I do know there are other species that could and may be better. I don't know.
Great.
So,
When's the next joint meeting? Do we have that scheduled already? Okay.
Yeah, it's already scheduled.
November.
Thought it was
So when's
November.
the next joint meeting? The
November
10th.
10th.
The 10th, November 10th. Would you guys be available to come with this information November 10th?
yeah, what meeting is that?
It's the joint
Joint
meeting.
session.
The village board and the DDA?
Yeah.
Do you want some additional information besides what I gave today, or?
I think we should have, if we could get a second quote, and then an inclusive quote that covers 32 Mile as well.
So would we just be talking Main Street and St. Clair?
In St. Clair.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think what they
'Cause-
were saying with a second quote is because this has already got the inventory in, like they already did the tree inventory, that second quote would also probably have to include a tree inventory, unless I misunderstood. Oh, it
No.
wouldn't?
I don't-
Okay, all right, then I
Yeah.
misunderstood.
You're just getting a quote to prove the tree.
Yes, just getting a quote to prove it.
Yeah, we didn't tie this in with our bigger
Oh,
project
okay,
of
all
our
right.
tree.
So this would probably be just sufficient, just to get another quote with what you have here.
Right.
That way you can compare apples to apples.
Apples to apples, so just Main Street and Newberry to
But I
Washington.
will tell you that there are some on the village board that will require 3 quotes.
Only for
So-
$10,000 or more are 3 quotes required.
Necessary.
We did this quote just as a courtesy. If you want, since you're gonna have to basically pay for, or take the lead on paying for the pruning, I think it would be incumbent on you guys to get a second or third quote or whatever it is that you.
I think,
But
not to cut you off, but,
maybe it done the inventory, so it's
Yeah.
easy for them
Right.
to.
so I think that's where the partnership comes in, but we gotta decide who's paying the bill for it, right? So if
Right.
it's the village council, then they would be required to
Then
get
they'll-
the
Exactly.
quotes.
Yeah,
And
and
you've already done the
No,
hard work.
village council would be the final payer.
They're
So it
always-
would be the village council to get the 3 quotes,
But,
not the DDA,
okay.
the
Right.
village council would.
Yep.
But I think like if we presented at the joint meeting, we might get a little further, like we might be able to,
The more information when it comes to costs, the better, I would
Yeah.
say, because then we all know what we're dealing with, as long as it's apples to apples.
Okay, so are you sure you wouldn't want me to get the West St. Clair added, or just stick with that?
Well, you've already got this. I mean,
Yes.
just to make it
Okay.
easier on you, just so it's something that
No,
we
that's
can-
good.
yeah,
I don't wanna like,
all of the information, and then we can break it down and take little
Yeah.
bites.
Yeah.
You know, like if it comes out that it's more money than we can put in a yearly budget, there's nothing stopping us from addressing some of it and then moving on to like the next zone or whatever.
Yeah.
With
And-
the next budget.
The reason I bring that up is because, just from history, when working with the village council, it's best that they take the lead in the payments. They can bill back to us, we can transfer funds to them, but it's their property. So they're gonna be the ones that make the
Yeah.
final say, they're gonna be the ones that sign the contracts, they're gonna be the ones that write the check. We can transfer, if we agree to X number of dollars, we can transfer that back to the village council, earmarked for this project, but it wouldn't be the DDA because it's not our property.
Yeah.
We can't do stuff on someone else's property, quite honestly. But we can work with them and coordinate, and we
Okay.
can fund back to them and have them take the lead on it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
very much for the presentation.
thank you. Okay, moving on. Holiday lighting and installation with RFQ.
So is Hayward's who we used last year?
Yes.
Same
Yes,
company?
Hayward.
All right. I reviewed this previously, so I will make a motion to approve funding for holiday light installation with Hayward Light Installers in the amount of $18,535. I think they did a really good job last year.
A second.
Everyone loves seeing them around town with their red and
Yeah,
white.
it
Little
looked
elves.
nice.
Yeah, what did we pay last year? I can't remember.
I think it was pretty close to this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very similar.
yeah.
I think you're thinking the bigger number that included us buying
Oh, that's
the
right, you're right,
decorations.
yes. Because I thought it was like 20-something.
Yeah, this is.
And they are the lowest quote.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no, and they're good people.
yeah, everyone loves seeing them. There was so much.
Yeah, they were so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a
I don't know, cute. but-
motion and a second. Roll call?
Roll call. St. Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Van Wormer,
Yes.
Oswald.
Yes. Okay, all right, moving on, event sponsorship procedure.
So this was added to the agenda per Lee's request. And I think we covered that, most of it, but as far as,
Working.
Yeah, there was some discussion, well, there's been multiple times that it's been brought up that we want to address or change the sponsorship or advertisement or whatever program for the DDA. So I think we just have to figure out if that is something we want to do, then, you know, who's rewriting it, what we're doing. Otherwise, we got to stick to what we have on our website as the sponsorship program.
So just to give some background, and kind of going back to what I was bringing up earlier, is this board can make just about any policy or bylaw or decision that they want, as long as it's legal. But once we do, we have to follow it. We cannot go off of what is a policy or a bylaw. That's just not the way it works. So this had come about last year, I think it was Vintage Fest, where there was some confusion about donations. And what had happened was the board had assigned X number of dollars, I don't remember what it was, to put on Vintage Fest. For sake of argument, we'll say $1,000. We have a sponsorship and a donation program in place that this board at one point agreed upon, that you could sponsor, and you get like a level of sponsorship. And with that dollar amount that you give to the DDA, you get certain things. So many Facebook posts, so many tags here. And each one's different based on the level. That allowed money to come in, and the DDA board, it went into our general fund, and then the DDA board can say, okay, of all the donations that we received, we are going to put X towards this amount towards this. And it allowed donors to receive more benefits than just a one-off situation or a one-off event. So then there came some confusion at the Vintage Fest event, where people were then just sponsoring the event or a portion of it. So someone would say, you know what, I'm gonna sponsor the stage, and they were writing a check for the stage. That circumvented the board's ability to decide how money was spent. Because that money doesn't go to an event, it goes to the board, and then the board says, we brought in $50,000 in donations, and how do we want to put out this $50,000? By collecting money for one-off items or for an event, or saying so-and-so wants to sponsor whatever, going forward, it is taking decision-making away from the board. So that's where this policy, this that's online, is that any donation that comes to the board is done through this tiered approach. Within those tiers, they get the benefits that are listed for those tiers, and that's how it works. Goes into the general fund, this board makes a budget based on how they choose to use that money. So coming up again, kind of, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but what we just talked about with witches and warlocks, is then to go out to a business and say, do you want to pay? Well, we shouldn't be doing that because it's against our policy. We shouldn't be collecting money for one-off events or one-off advertising as a DDA. If there's a merchants association that wants to do it, knock yourselves out. We don't have any say or any involvement in that. But when it's the DDA saying we would like to collect money for something, one, we shouldn't be because people already pay their taxes. And number two, we're not following our event sponsorship program. So we either need to follow it or we need to change it, is really where we're at.
And like we discussed before, and I agree with you, and that's why I would like to put together a committee to do the policies and procedures, and then also update our bylaws as well. And so I agree with you. I think and it's a very gray area, because we really don't have policies and procedures in place as,
But
and
we
there's
do
no,
though,
there,
Kathy.
there's
a
no.
written policy online for donations.
It's for sponsorship. It's not for donations, it's for sponsorship. And I get that. But I think what we need is more of a clear, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and discuss this as a committee and put them together, put it in writing, and that way it's more clear. I'm not a stupid person, and I've done many events and I've been on boards before. There's no clarity here. There's no policies and procedures. I mean, I've got right here, you know, stuff that I looked up online before I even became a board member. I haven't found the policies and procedures. I know that we have a sponsorship form, the dog, I get that. But this is where the area gets gray. We now have someone here, we have a director that can kind of circumvent some of this stuff for us, and which is great. But I really feel strongly, and I would love for you to be on that committee, let's put this together and so we don't keep running into this.
And I have no, I mean, like I said, if we want to say this one's gone and we're doing something completely
Yes.
different, that's fine.
Let's do it. Yeah.
My only, caveat with that is, whatever it is, once
Right.
this board votes on something, that's it until we vote on something else.
Correct.
So if this is our policy.
But
then-
here's the issue with that some of the people on the board that are on the board now weren't on the board before when it was voted, so we didn't know.
Okay, but
I'm just saying,
I
I'm
understand.
just saying.
But now that we know that
But
it's
now
on the
that we
website,
know,
now that we
let's
know
move forward.
It's on the website.
Yep.
Until this board votes on something
Yep.
different, this is the law of the
And
land.
I get
We want
that.
to make a vote at next month's meeting and say, throw this away, it's gone. It's the wild, wild west, give and take as we want to go.
Yep.
Then that's our new policy.
And that's
we
why I'm
follow
asking
that.
for a committee to do that, and let's
if
move
I- And I
forward
would
with
just-
that.
If I can just say something real quick, as far as something being a policy, what we have on our website is a sponsorship dog award, but there's no guidelines here. There's not, this is what the money is, how it's gonna be decided, where it's gonna go, and this is what we would use this for. Like, I'm completely confused with this.
So if we want to rewrite it, that's fine. And
That's
I
what I'm
just want to
asking
say
for.
something else on that, and then I'll let you go. We also need to make sure when this committee meets, they are presenting a recommendation. This committee doesn't go off, make a decision, and then it's done.
Correct.
It goes back to the board
Correct.
for a vote.
Correct.
I think we need to be, specific. Donation, sponsorships, they're not the same. I've talked to other DDA in different cities, and they were shocked that we don't take donations to the DDA. We don't do sponsorships to the DDAs.
We do, though. We have a
Well,
program
but
in
what's the
place.
lowest one?
We can have, and you can change the dollar amount, but I just want to be clear, when we're saying we don't have a policy, we do. Whether we like it or not, maybe we want to change it, but I keep hearing we don't have one, we don't have one. We do have one. If we don't like it, cool, we can get rid of it by board vote. We just can't do it without a board vote and without the board having a say in that. So if there
And I'm
wants-
in agreement with that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
so-
saying. Let's move forward. I totally agree. Let's move forward. Let's put a committee together and do just that.
So are we making a motion to have a subcommittee
Yes,
right now?
yes.
Okay.
So I would like to make a motion to form a subcommittee to do our policies and procedures, and then also update our bylaws. And along with that, I would like to also have a intern, probably from the Romeo High School, to actually sit on with that and then write that for us. Someone that's studying to be in law.
A high school student?
Mhm.
I don't think we have high school students that are studying to be in law. It's just my opinion.
We do.
We do.
I didn't
We
realize
do.
we had a law
That's
school.
where my
We do.
son, that's
One of
how
my-
he got started.
One of my grandchildren is, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, so we do.
Okay.
So just reaching out to the high schools with that. So that's my motion,
I second it.
okay? Any more discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay.
Who's on this committee?
Who would like to be on the committee, I guess is it.
And how many people? It's gotta be, what,
Well, we
less
need
than
to,
four?
well, we need to have an odd number, I would imagine.
It'd have to be less
Less
than
than
quorum.
Quorum.
I would
yeah.
like to be on that.
I would like to be on it.
I can't, no, unfortunately.
I'd be on that committee if anybody would accept me.
I don't know.
I do have a question when you guys are done talking,
Okay.
when we do whatever we're doing here.
Okay, so far we have myself, Marty, Tom. Danielle, do you want to?
Sure.
Danielle?
I
What
think it's
about-
all you can have, because I know.
There's four, yeah, because there's our four. Okay.
I've always been under the impression that our commitment is to beautify or whatever we have to do for the central business district. And my lovely wife is probably watching on TV right now. And I'm just gonna ask a question with respect to like the Chamber of Commerce. I, as the owner, provide any services that the chamber wants to do. I would never go to the DDA to ask for money for, hey, we are doing an event called Night Under the Stars. Could you possibly help us with a porta-john? Or could you, that to me, so I'm trying to clarify what I said earlier, and I'm not backing down from what I said earlier.
Tom, we just gave $1,000 to the chamber last
So,
meeting for
So let me,
art and wine
and
walk.
this is where I have a rub with this, but I do not get a dime of money from the Chamber of Commerce. I donate completely to that. I don't even take a tax write-off for that. And when I started with the DDA all those decades ago, it was my impression, and if you guys need to correct me, fine.
well, I think.
And I'm willing, if I'm not the proper person to be on this board,
I don't think you're not the proper person. So let me explain, like, when I see funding come through, where my thought process is.
Okay.
We have the money set aside to help businesses who want to go above and beyond just their business that promotes the town. So if they come to us and they say, we want to do this and include all of the businesses around us in this promotion, can we have money for a sign? Can we have money for advertisement? Can we have a porta potty? I'm gonna probably say yes, because they shouldn't have, when we exist, have to foot the whole bill so that everybody and their neighbors can also benefit from this. If they were locking it in their own little parking lot and saying, I'm making all the money, then yeah, then they pay all of the costs. But when it's being advertised as a town event, and they're going to their fellow business owners and saying, hey, join me in this, can I have $500 from the DDA? I'm probably gonna say yes.
The money's
think-
there.
I think too, Tom, when we served on the board a lifetime ago, before, 20 years ago, we were both on the board together.
longer than that.
Longer than that, yeah, probably more
You
like.
don't have to
Well,
admit that,
I was there
though,
when Sharon created the cities.
It was 30 years ago.
Right.
I was 20 years old,
Yeah.
so it was a
And-
long time.
But again,
But-
the premise to me was that the tax dollars were strictly for beautification of the district itself. And
Well,
that was it, and that's why the
there's-
taxes were paid.
But it's
The
not
one thing
just-
I struggle with is giving money to an individual business to I just don't think that's the way it was founded. Now, if it's changed.
It has
And I
not
need to be
changed.
re-educated, I am perfectly
No.
happy with that.
But Tom, that's the thing, it hasn't changed. When we were on the board 30 years ago, there was at that time what was called the Merchant Restaurant Professionals Association.
Okay.
And we had our own bank account, our own 501c3. I
Right.
set it up, I went through all the thing. Okay, now we had a merchants group. And we all paid dues to that merchants group. I do not remember what it was. It was a lifetime ago. And we had board officers, and we as a merchant group would put on events. That merchant group would come to the DDA at times and request funding to help put something on. And we would come and say, we are putting in $1,000 of our money, we're asking you to match that money. The problem that we're getting into now, this gray area, is that it's not a merchant group, it's an individual business that's requesting the funds. So that's problem for me, number one.
And me.
And yeah.
Quite frankly,
And
yeah.
as much as,
Yeah.
as good thoughts, and I believe what you're saying, it's not a personal attack. We don't have anything saying that this is a group event. We have an individual business requesting money. Additionally, that individual business sits on this board and is voting on giving their own business money. To me, that's a concern, that's an ethical issue. I would certainly suggest that if this Visionaries Committee is going to move forward with having events, then they should form as a 501c3. But the problem too that we have to be careful with is that the DDA, and this was an issue back then too, when there would be an event and the merchants would say, we're partnering with Frontier Town, and we're gonna do an event with us and Frontier Town. Well, the DDA was getting kind of caught in the red tape of, ooh, we can't put our money into Frontier Town. I don't know if any of that's kind of bringing back, but those are the discussions we had at the time.
Right.
So our money could go for the downtown area, our money couldn't go to an event in Frontier Town. But it was going to a specific organization, like when we provide money to the Historical Society, to the Rotary, to the Chamber. Here, we are writing a check for $2,000 to an individual business in the district who is a voting member of this board. That's the legal problem that we're at.
And I
Yeah.
agree completely. And
So,
I'm just
saying-
trying to understand, if all these decades I have misconstrued what the process was for the GDA, you know, but remember it was the cool cities and all,
Yeah,
it had
you
all
have
the
not
crazy names,
misconstrued.
right?
You have not misconstrued.
Right. And the way we started it back then, I mean, I
We were in
know
the
hey, remember
Masonic
we're at the
Temple.
bank, we're on the phone, we're calling people, and in the district or in the village, and saying, this is what we're trying to do. And it was the Cool City program, and I believe, well, who was the governor, it really doesn't matter at that.
Granholm.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're
So
right.
I'm just trying to get this right, is that I want to be a member of this board, but I don't want to be a member if I'm doing something that just doesn't fit with my personal belief on how it
Well,
was
that's
supposed to
something,
be
Tom, I
done.
guess you're gonna have to reflect upon. I would love
Well-
for you to be on this committee, and I feel
Well,
like.
and let me throw
I-
another one
I-
at you then, and we're, since
I mean,
since.
we,
But in
I-
fairness, Kathy, he has to reflect on that, but if his.
I do, I agree.
So
and I-
let me just finish. He
Well-
has to reflect on if he wants to be on this board, but if the board is doing something unethical, he should not have to reflect if he wants to be a part of that or not.
and I get that, and I don't believe.
And I will say this too, okay? Tilson Street, I was one of the people with my wife and other neighbors that originally created that. Vicky was, you know, the people that you probably don't even know names of,
Yeah.
okay? But because that turned into more than we could have ever imagined, right? And it wasn't a plan of money, it was just of something, wow, cool to do. Who in their mind would have thought it got to where it is? But I don't think anybody in the DDA should get any benefit from that event, which is not even in the DDA. It's a wonderful thing, but there's where I'm struggling now.
Well, then
And-
you gotta vote with your conscience and vote
well,
ethically.
and I
That's
just,
not
I
the
don't,
same.
I
You
don't
have
want
to- you
the
have to-
whole, I
I
don't want
get
the
it.
whole darn world ticked off at me because
We're-
I'm very greaseball about my integrity.
No,
And that is,
Tom, I totally understand, and I
But-
totally,
so
I
that's where I'm
totally
at.
agree, and I'm glad that you feel that way, but we need to move on. We need to move on.
okay,
please.
and I will.
And I would
will-
love for you, and that's why I would love for you to be on this committee, so maybe we can iron some of these gray areas out with
Yeah,
that.
some of
And
these
I'd like
things
to,
need
I'd like to move on.
Public comments over.
Oh,
Can I ask a
No,
question?
you
or-
did
after,
during
no,
public
not till, the end, I'm sorry, that's,
Well, I thought it used to be where you could,
well, we,
We
no, by,
haven't voted
I,
on anything yet, you can
Yeah.
comment before a vote.
it's at the end, yes, but I would love for you to at the end. So I'd like to move on to Vintage Fest 2026.
Okay, so Vintage Fest 2026, this discussion, results from this year's event and data has been received. There's been discussions about growing the event larger and planning it with a multi-organizational committee. So, discussion.
So last Vintage Fest, the Rotary Club took over the Vintage Fest. So are they not planning on doing it this year?
No, I think they are more than willing to continue to organize it if that's the path we want to go. I think the discussion has come up that maybe it could be better going forward if we have multi-organizations working together on a committee for it, just because it's such a large event. And we did see, the event suffered as far as numbers, and the vision is to make it, as big as it can be, right?
So, so reading this, motion is to approve the DDA in organizing Vintage Fest. Are we looking to take it back on, or are we looking to maybe put a board member or two on a committee
That's
for
up
this
to you
event?
guys. I'm bringing it up for discussion.
Yeah.
Well, what are they looking for?
We aren't looking for anything. They came to us. I know it's not public comment.
Okay, then just,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so this board went to the Rotary Club and said, we want to be part of Vintage Fest again. Did Rotary Club say they wanted us to be a part of it?
They were
Because now they're saying
agreeable.
that they're not asking for anything.
They were agreeable that it was a good idea and that they would want to be a part of it.
So my question is, at the end of the day, so next project, let's start it on the right foot. Who will be chairing this event, and who will be financially funding this event?
I think the thought was, the Rotary, and you would have an extension, I guess. Is that what I'm looking for?
So,
To,
that's not, I just want to be clear. So if we're going to make this motion doesn't mention Rotary Club in here at all. It says motion to approve the Romeo DDA organizing Vintage Fest 2026 through a creation of multi-organizational planning committee. So this is saying that we're going to do Vintage Fest, we're going to create the multi-organizational planning committee. My first question is, I'm not going to take it back from the Rotary Club if they don't want to give it up. So that would be my first question is, do they want to give it back to us to run for them? Or not to run for them, to run? If they do, then how is this project going to be funded? And will that funding take place within the DDA? What is the expectation for my first question is, do they want to give it up? I mean, I guess that's the first thing, so.
I would say,
I'll answer too, because I was at that meeting to that. I don't think it's something that they want to give up at all. I think it's more of it was more of a, hey, if we want to work together, how can we work together? If it can be huge. I know that the state of the numbers were down from the previous year. There's many factors that could be involved in that. So if there's more, I know that a couple of different organizations have reached out to us, like, hey, we would like to be a part of it. So I was there at the luncheon, listening to the different things. So I think it was, in my opinion, I took away from it, it's more of an opportunity to talk about more future things of being multiple.
So,
I don't want to I don't think we should get involved in Vintage Fest again. I was very happy to see the Rotary Club take it over. I think they did a very good job with it. I think attendance is down because it was down the 2 prior years before because of bad weather. I think if they continue doing what they're doing, it'll probably eventually become a bigger event again. But I was under the understanding that we walked away from hosting events so that we could focus on doing, like, supporting the businesses
Right.
and the organizations that wanted to do the events.
And that's what I was gonna say too, is that we had talked about a
Yeah,
master.
within the DDA, yeah.
We had talked about a master plan of us not being an event producer, but supporting events, and it looks like we're going the other way now.
Well,
of
which
taking
could,
events.
but which could be if we wanted a couple of representatives on, like, for instance, if there was a bigger board per se with the Rotary, if that were, we basically offered that would be available.
But I think what would have to happen, quite honestly, is the Rotary would have to come to us and say, we'd like you to be a part of it. I don't think it's up for us to go to them, which sounds like it did.
I think
So
if any of us wanted to help the
Yeah,
Rotary
you
with
can
the
volunteer
event.
as a person.
But, yeah, but not as a spokesperson for the DDA. I think that's getting away from what we had decided to do. If the Rotary wants help, like they want a tent and porta potties and signs and advertising, then they can come to us and ask us to
Which I
support
think
them
they
in that.
did last,
Yeah,
we
they
did offer
Yeah.
funding last year.
And, yeah, we did, and I would be happy to look over a proposal like that again, but I don't see how this is going to help us help other events and things that the businesses in the DDA want to do.
May I just ask one question, and I'll keep my mouth shut for the rest of the night, I promise.
There's a lot of items.
This, what you're discussing
I don't
right
know.
now is where my rub is. The North Macomb Foundation, okay, which Kelly and all the Chamber of Commerce's try to help, all right? Me, myself, have done stuff for that, but never would I think to go to the DDA to support that event. And the event, like the Night Under the Stars she does and things like that. So I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands where I'm coming from. And I even did the program through Ford Motor Company, all right, by getting material and products that they were going to throw away. And I brought them to my own building under my own cost and sold those items for the North Macomb Foundation. Old toolboxes, things of that nature, okay? I never would have thought to go to the DDA to do that. And I'm not trying to point a finger at saying you're a bad person because you do that. That's not my thought. I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing these things right and legally. And I don't know, that's where I'm
I
at.
think the question is, are we going to make a motion to have the DDA organize Vintage Fest? And if there is no motion to do that, I
We
don't know
move
if there's
on.
anything
Yeah.
to do with this topic.
Yeah, I would agree.
'Cause
I think,
I would agree.
I don't think we're going back to deciding what the goals
yeah.
are and what are we doing this event or are we
Yeah,
not?
but I
Is someone
think-
gonna make a motion to do that or no?
and no, but
So Sharon, you guys
we can't.
solely.
But I think what's important too, though, is we have to understand, like, what is our, like, I feel like in the last 60 days, 45 days, we have completely thrown away our entire DDA focus, our entire master plan, and we are just getting on this event churning thing. Let's throw $1,000 here, let's throw $1,000 here, let's do two, let's take that event back, that is where the merchants need to organize as a merchants association. They put on their merchant events. We support big picture. That's the purpose of a DDA. The DDA should not be doing event after event after event. That's where the merchants come and are an arm of the DDA. You got the building owners that are an arm of the DDA. You've got the government part of it, and we're deciding where to spend this massive amounts of publicly collected tax dollars. We should not be putting on merchant events.
It was on the agenda because someone brought it up.
I'm not arguing, I'm just
Yeah,
open
we can move
conversation,
forward.
but I'm
Yep.
just saying, so we're now talking about taking an event back from an organization that has not asked us to take it back from them. So I think, absent of a motion to what Danielle said, we
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there's not is there a motion? No. Okay, so let's move on. Okay. All right, next, Art and Wine Walk 2025.
Okay, so the DDA has agreed to sponsor the Art and Wine Walk. We have done that. In conjunction with this event, I am proposing that we open up our DDA offices so that we can possibly sell our DDA merchandise. We can walk people through our vision, our infrastructure projects that we have. Basically, have an open house. So the action needed would be to approve the DDA participating in the Art and Wine Walk as a stop location at a cost not to exceed $300.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call?
Okay, so St. Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Van Wormer,
Yes.
Oswald.
Yes. Okay, moving on, Witches and Warlocks, return to Romeo.
Okay, so the idea is to also have our DDA offices open during the Witches and Warlock Return to Romeo event, and to use it as a media and VIP hub. Again, allowing the DDA to showcase our upcoming projects, economic development initiatives, have a public restroom for those individuals, and create a great backdrop for further interviews by the media. Action needed is a motion to approve the DDA participating in the Witches and Warlocks Return to Romeo event, using our offices as a media and VIP hub, and a cost not to exceed $300.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call?
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Oswald, Van Wormer, sorry.
Yes.
Oswald,
Yes. Okay, moving on to unfinished business, the Village Park cleanup.
So we did DPW.
I'm sorry.
One last one.
I guess I'm
We're
just
almost
trying to
there.
get you out of here, Danielle, I'm sorry. DPW storage cleanout.
so we're currently out of storage and need to rent a dumpster and a worker for the day to help dispose of items that need to be disposed of. The action needed is motion to approve the Romeo DDA cleaning out DPW storage at a cost not to exceed $700. I have received 3 quotes for the dumpster. The lowest cost is $400, and so I don't expect to spend more than $500, but
I'll make that motion. Sorry.
I just had a quick, and one worker for the day, you're just gonna do like a gig work?
what's that?
The worker for the day? Are you just gonna get like a gig worker,
Yeah.
something like that? Okay, I'll second.
Okay. Roll call?
Lee,
Yes.
St. Laurent,
Yes.
Hutnick,
Yes.
Murdoch,
Yes.
Stevens, Van Wormer,
Yes.
Oswald.
Yes. Okay, now moving on to unfinished business. Okay. Village Park cleanup.
Cleanup efforts were completed before the Peach Festival. That included weeding, mulching, trimming, and replacing rose bushes with more manageable box hedges. The DDA director continues to work on banners for the gazebo and bulletin board updates. Any questions, discussion?
Okay.
The Michigan class, so we have a Michigan class account. It is live. We have not moved funds as of today. I am working with them. It's a very long process of trying to get things set up. But we are live, so moving forward.
One quick question. Is that similar to what the village council's doing with their investments? Okay.
Yeah. Any discussion on that?
Okay.
Okay, so the People-Driven Credit Union Marketing Promotional Bank Account is also live. This is a small account that the DDA intends to use for smaller purchases in order to keep our main general fund clean and secure. So that's live. We're set up and taking square payments for our merch sales. Any questions? District 360 is also live. I'm now working from the platform, and it's working great. One Source publication, so this is the brochure the Parks and Rec used to create on their own, and we are now part of. The planning meetings have wrapped up, and we're now working on content and layout designs for our pages. Content's going to include contact information, social media and website info, downtown events coming soon, about the DDA section, upcoming projects, and possibly blog articles. The first issue will be delivered at the beginning of December, and the reach is almost 17,000 residents. Any questions? Okay, our wayfinding and attraction strategy. Crimson has delivered their final conceptual plans along with cost and implementation plans. The DDA and the village are researching grant opportunities. The DDA has partnered with Romeo High School, and a new marketing intern has started working with the DDA to bring our strategy to life over the next year. This is part of a work-based learning program, and she will be focused on our marketing efforts and visitor attraction strategy. Part of the wayfinding and attraction strategy that we need to complete in order to submit applications for grant funding is creating a media schedule. So what does that look like? Are we going to use billboards? Are we going to use, magazines? Are we going to use, postcards? So that's the part that we're working on developing. And as soon as we have that complete, hopefully by then I will have a clear vision of who we're going to seek funding from, and we can submit application. My goal is to have an application submitted by February. Any questions? Okay, the multimodal streetscape project, Giffords Webster team and the DDA director presented the final conceptual plan to Macomb County in August. The county approved all except for the dedicated bike lane from the Macomb Orchard Trail. The center turn lane is for safety reasons and should not be altered. Giffords Webster is working on planning a town hall meeting in the beginning of 2026 to present the plan. We did hold a walking tour in September to 2 grant writing experts provided by 4 Counties Community Foundation, who will be assisting with researching available funding options. Due to the new administration in Washington, a lot of the programs have halted, and so we are having to be very strategic using multiple avenues for funding and kind of like stacking. And so that planning is going to take a little bit longer than we anticipated. Any questions? The Visionary Leaders Circle, I'll leave that up to Kathy.
Okay, so we met last Wednesday, just kind of going over some of the things. Obviously, it is the next event with the Witches and Warlocks. We have our permit has been submitted. We have a schedule of events. Very excited. People's Driven is bringing a lot to the table for that day. They're very involved in that. Great community involvement. Parks and Rec has taken their contest for the kids and bringing it to Main Street, which is very nice because now they'll be front and center with that. Masonic Temple has their haunted house. The Romeo Rotary, they had some great ideas. They're going to be selling like packets for the pointed hat and the broom and the cape for people who might want to stick around and don't have one. The Starkweather, they're going to have a craft table set up, so if the people want to embellish their witches hats, they can do that. So there's a lot of community going on. We've got a lot of, obviously, social media. We're excited to have Mark Hackle as our MC. We're going to have the DJ. So it should be a really fun community event. Very excited about that. Okay, that's all I have there. So now at this time, would anybody like to comment, public, about the things that we've discussed?
Well, you can't walk on it.
I don't know why yours got opening over there.
The chair's got all
We need to reorganize the
It
meeting.
is.
Put that over here.
That last row should be gone.
All right. Just wanted to make note that indeed, the Rotary loves doing Vintage Fest. We had a blast doing it this year. We intend to do it every year going forward. It's going to be the first Saturday in each June. We changed that so that we could coordinate with the Masonic Temple, because that won't get in the way of different graduation parties and that sort of thing. When we talked with Kay and Kathy, they came to one of our meetings, and in no way did we ever say that we wanted to give it up. What we did say that we would be responsible for the one day. We will not put in a request to close the streets for a second day. It was discussed as having it to be a bigger and longer event. The Rotary is quite happy with doing the one day. We did it with Flying Stars. Jacob Newby did all of the organizing for us. He's a superstar young man. He's going to be our next president, Rotary president, but who knows, maybe.
Or that.
Jessica Newby was a great help as well. And then I also have to say, the discussion that went on for the witches and warlocks, that's, $2,000 that is being given. I think if certain people had shown up to meetings, you accepted you wanted to be on this board again. What was it, back in May or June? And if you shown up today, I come to every meeting and I don't think you've been to one. So shame on you, because this could have been a DDA funded or a DDA title sponsored thing, but I think Kathy and Kay were kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because they wanted to get this going. 3,000 people in the village on that day is going to be a boon to everyone. They're not all going to be in MJC Marketplace. They're going to be going all over town. So I think it's $2,000 well spent. Thank you for doing all of the work to put it on. And I think for what it's worth, just going forward, having some really firm, processes and procedures for how to fund this, maybe even having certain monies that the director can spend without having to get board approval is a common sense thing when you have a director. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
You gotta go up there,
Oh,
Linda.
yeah. Well, maybe start, because it'll take
might
a
wanna
while.
start.
Yeah, it's gonna work your way up.
He's got to go all the way around.
Get to the front row.
Hurry up.
I don't know, you're so thin.
And then you'll race to the microphone.
Yeah, you can come here,
She's getting in line.
because they don't want to hear what I'm gonna say.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Yeah. We need to reorganize the chairs so we can get up here faster. I was gonna start saying something. I appreciate the fact that Megan, as usual, is not here, and I'm directing these comments at her, but Tom and I appreciate what you say about beautification. It doesn't apply to the park. I mean, DDA went out of their way and spent $1,200 or whatever it is to clean it up, but the weeds are back. The grass isn't being watered. The plants you did put in are dying because you blew $1,200 or whatever it is because you can't get somebody to take possession of the park, and it's pitiful. I read the fall brochure. It gets sent around, and went around to some of the other villages around Romeo and looked at their parks versus ours. I don't want to tell you who came in last. But we got to do something, and I hope DDA keeps moving this ball down the street, because we got functions going on in the park, and the place looks like a dump.
Am I allowed
Nobody
to
turn- we don't-
talk when the gentleman's up there?
We can't turn on the water. Who's responsible for turning on the water?
You'll have
village
board
property.
comments at the
They-
end.
How much money does it
Board
cost?
comments are at the end.
It's the village
okay.
property part.
Hell, I'll pay the monthly fee to water 1 month if I can't be that much kind of money. What are we talking about here? Anyway, I'm done with that subject. I want to preference this next comment. I don't know enough about the DDA to be critical, but just by sitting here listening, it sounds like a majority of you haven't read the ordinance and the bylaws for the DDA. I think you ought to start by reading your mission statement, if you have one. You ought to start by understanding the definition of what DDA stands for. And you ought to all read the ordinances and your bylaws, because the things you're talking about, at least the impression I got, is that you don't know what's being said in the bylaws. So I think you ought to start by reading it before, you have another meeting and stuff, so you can, because you're gonna have an interim before you get around to changing things, so that's just my opinion, and I apologize for the way I said it, so thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. I'm representing the Historical Society. We've done the home tour. We got 5 great houses again this year. The village is participating, organizations are participating, the museums are participating. All the World the Stage is participating, and we have private entertainers. And I just wanted to bring you this to let you know that, keeping my fingers crossed, I told the printer, go ahead and put it on the back. I think they're going to do it. But according to the form that I fill out and obligatory for those that are accepting a donation, we also do advertising together. So this is what's on the back. This is last year's ticket booklet. So this is what's on the back of the ticket booklet. This is a small version of the big poster that goes into the stores saying what store is selling, but on the bottom, DDA is mentioned. So we have, this was flyers that were made, that were handed out at Barn Tour to get circulated. And every time I hit Facebook in the morning for 2 hours advertising the Romeo Historical Society home tour, the DDA is mentioned.
Will we get posters again?
Oh,
to
yeah,
put in the
yeah,
windows?
yeah. 15th is when tickets go on sale. All our printing is in. That's all I've been doing in the last couple of weeks, is just proofing the tickets and everything. So on behalf of the Romeo Historical Society, thank you very much. We have had, I say 500 to stay humble, but we've sold up to 700 tickets. So
Very cool.
hope again this
It's
year.
always such a nice,
It is.
event.
And it's so nice because I've already had a woman call me and ask if she could buy tickets. I said, yes, but could you wait till the 15th? Just my own mind.
Yeah.
But it's not just the homes. The merchants participate, just the whole thing. I do have one quick question. Decorations will be up early, before the 6th of December?
The winter
yeah.
ones?
Yeah, the Christmas?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And
Oh, do you have any questions about?
I did have 2 people call the restaurant about a week and a half ago
The ticket?
and ask, yes,
Good.
so.
That'd be good. October 15th.
is when they start?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. October 15th?
I told you you should have done the Friday.
It's nice ending on a happy note. Yes. I'm just saying. Okay, so anyone else? We good? All right. Okay. Deb, your report.
Okay, so business as usual with communications with our business community. I've sent out a newsletter, visited the businesses, was on site for some of our summer events, a lot of on the streets. So some of those events outside of just DDA board meetings and joint meetings, I did attend the State of the Washington address, which was really cool. Attended a ribbon cutting for Old World Nouveau. I went to the Benefactors Breakfast at Peach Fest. I also participated as a judge in the Peach Fest Parade. Attended the Summer Soiree, the Golden Girls Day Out event. We did take over the MDA's Instagram this month, and that was pretty fun. We got to actually showcase our Return to Romeo video. I don't know if everyone has seen it, but it was just an amazing production. It has reached almost 30,000 views, and without spending a dime. So just mind-blowing. And it's just a warm, good, feels good. So it was a great kickoff. I held interviews with Macomb Daily, Macomb Now Magazine, Media News Group, and Detroit News, all in regards to the Witches and Warlock event. And then most of the stuff I've gone through with you guys, project-wise. I think the only thing I didn't touch on are some micro project discovery. So in our strategic plan, we have budgeted for a few micro projects for downtown. And so just trying to flesh out some ideas and what those could be so I can present them to the board. Some ideas that I've come up with are downtown permanent holiday lighting, the Village Park Playscape possibly. We have a grant funder who actually already has the funds for that if it's something that we want to proceed with. So, and then also creating a historical walking tour downtown. So those are things I'll be kind of fleshing out and seeing, putting together for you guys. Outside of that, almost everything that we had started is completed. So it's time for the next batch of projects. And that's all I've got.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Tom,
Oh, is it my turn?
it's your turn.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, you're right. And I had some serious personal issues why I wasn't at these meetings. And I'm not going to tell you what they are. But I also, because with the park, was willing to cut the grass for free, and I said it to many people and many around. I would be happy to go do that, because I'm at my building quite a bit. I have helped other neighborhoods, or neighbors, excuse me, who may not be able to cut their lawn or shovel their snow. I've done a ton of stuff in the 40 years I've lived here. I beautified a building that should have never been a foster care home, the Brab House. I've done a lot of things for this community. I've done a lot of things for free. I've never taken any money from anybody. So anybody that knows me knows that a slap at my integrity is it hurts, and I must say so. But I've been here a long time. I've done a lot of things for a lot of people, and I got a boatload of friends that would stand me by. But I appreciate your ability to be able to say what you feel. I will do better in the future of making sure I'm here at the meetings. I will make sure that there's something wrong. I will tell the entire group why I'm not there. Thank you.
I don't really have a ton to add, other than I appreciate all of the feedback, positive and critical. It's good to have self-reflection in everything that we do, so I appreciate the public coming out and providing feedback, and appreciate the dialogue that we're able to have as a group.
And I agree. I think communication is key. So I think the more we hash things out, and we might have to reinvent the wheel sometimes, and I think we can have a positive moving forward. It's been a learning curve for me, absolutely. First time on this board ever, so definitely a learning curve. I think there's a lot of gray area in how things are written, and I think they're interpreted a little differently by each person. So with that, I think going forward with the committee that Kathy suggested, or that we approved to have, I think hopefully we can add more clarification moving forward. Okay. So that's it.
Danielle?
I want to thank Carl from Vera's and Andrew from the dance studio for once again putting up the fall lights downtown for free. So thank you very much to them. They look great. Again, kudos to Kay for wearing so many hats. It's very impressive to see what she pulls off on a day-to-day basis that everyone doesn't see. A lot of what we're trying to do is not instant gratification, and I hope you know, Kay, it doesn't go unnoticed. I had an opportunity to sell some of our merch at Peach Fest in front of People's Driven, and seeing what she did to pull all that together so that we could, spread the word about downtown and what we were doing was very impressive. So I just wanted to say thank you to her for all that hard work.
Okay, I got a couple comments here. I'll try not to be a broken record from earlier, but Just want to touch base on what I've thought of and what I've learned sitting here today and kind of what my views were when I came in, as well as just to kind of respond to some of the comments. So it concerns me that not agreeing with some of the decisions made needs to be looked at as just that. It's not an agreement with the decision being made. It's not an attack on the event. It's not an attack on if it's money well spent. I think anyone can agree that these events that bring people to town are beneficial to town. They're beneficial to the businesses, they're beneficial to the residents, they're beneficial. So that's not what's at, in my opinion, what the question is. It's not, is this money well spent? Is this not where we should be putting our money? It's the ethical spending of money that I have an issue with. There is a right way to do things. Because we are a government board, there are legalities that we are tied to. And to kind of try to circumvent that with, well, it's gonna bring 3,000 people and it's money well spent and it's gonna be wonderful. No one's questioning that. That is not what is being questioned. What is being questioned is how we got here. Because at the end of the day, this board is legally responsible for the decisions that it makes. And the answer of I didn't know, or I misrepresented, or misunderstood, is not a viable answer when we are subpoenaed, when we are questioned on things. So I do hold to the fact that whether it is the best way to spend the dollar or not, there's a way to spend it. And we as a board are entrusted to do that. To kind of say, well, we didn't know, or it was all for a good cause, is not appropriate. So, you know, I wanted to express my concern regarding that spending and the decisions that are being made outside of this board table. I understand that some matters are time sensitive, but the absence of a quorum or a meeting does not provide a pass for decisions or expenditures to move on without board approval. We've spoken recently about the importance of increasing public involvement and having, and even added the additional public comment section to our meeting to support that goal. However, the action decisions making outside of the board table are really counterproductive to that. Why bother? Because all we're allowing people to do now is speak on things we've already done. So again, I'm just kind of paraphrasing what I have here, but I respectfully ask that we return to ensuring all board decisions are made at the table. Committees are in place to make a recommendation brought to the board and the board votes on it. Every appointed member should have the opportunity to participate in the process. This is not only essential for good governance, but it also ensures that the public and the taxpayers have transparency and a voice in how decisions are made. So again, I don't think that things are done maliciously. I don't think things are maybe done, with an effort to go outside the bylaws or the laws, but they are being done that way. So we need to bring it in, because legally, at the end of the day, these people have to answer to it. And saying it's a really great event and look, it brought people to town is not an excuse to unethically spend money or spend money outside of our bylaws. So that being said, I absolutely appreciate everyone's hard work. I think it's gonna be a great event. I don't question that at all. So I want to be very clear about that. I think it's a great event. I think it's wonderful. I think it's gonna bring people to town. I think we gotta spend our money right.
Marty?
So first of all, Kay and Kathy, thank you. Golden Girls Day was a huge success. People are still talking about it. I still have my Golden Girls at the restaurant if you guys want to come by and see them. The guys love them. As far as, I am so looking forward to get together and working out all the kinks. Let's figure this out so we're all on the same page. So that's it. Thank you for coming.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for coming. We greatly love that you're here, and we love that you tell us what you need us to know in that. I want to thank you to the board members, each and every one of you. I appreciate everything that you say, and I do understand. And I agree with a lot of the things, and some of the things I don't. But that's what makes a great board, right? We don't want everybody to be in agreement all the time. That's how we're gonna grow, and that's how we're gonna get better with that. And Kay, thank you so much again. You're definitely a gem for us, and we appreciate all that you do, and like you've said, there's so much that she does that we don't even know what she does. There's so much to her job, so thank you all. I want to hopefully invite you all to the Witches and Warlocks. Make sure you wear a pointy hat, a black cape or black dress, and a broom. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you all, and happy anniversary.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.